Your dog got its salad tossed.
Hey, our entire generation is proud of eating ass, so
This
be
is
proud that
very
your
true.
dog does it too.
Your dog got its salad tossed. It was really funny because she walked behind you. She was listening. So
You guys like stuff?
Dude, I love stuff. My favorite thing
amazing.
though is things. Those are my favorite.
Hey everybody,
Things
welcome back to
stuff.
Hard Reset, a Cold North production, the first Hard Reset of 2019. I am your host, the Law Morris. Joining me, as usual, we have
did it
gorgeous
all.
Ben Reynolds,
meow.
the effervescent Andrew Etchen,
Giggity.
and stepping in once again, sword art online sword owning Tim Miller.
Hello, and thank you for pointing that fact out.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're listening to number 75, the one where we discuss the best games we played in 2018. Now, I do want to take a minute before we jump in to say that as I was preparing for this episode, I kind of got to thinking that this is our second Game of the Year episode on this podcast, and we're coming up on 2 years. We've missed a few shows here and there, but regardless, this podcast is almost 2 years old. And for that, I definitely want to thank everyone involved.
Give yourself a round of applause, everyone.
Yeah, you guys, honestly, I want to thank all three of you guys. Ben and Andrew, you guys have been awesome regulars on the show for the last year. And
Has it really been a year? God
It's
damn.
been a year pretty much since you joined, yeah. And I would like to, Tim, you've been so great, like stepping in when we need you, and like you know, when you can, it's really awesome to have you. I definitely want to thank Zach and Nathan for being around when we started it, and Jillian for her overwhelming support, and every single person out there that has listened, even if it was just once. Thank you so much for your attention and your support. There's
We love
almost
you.
none of you out there, but to everyone that has been a part of it, thank you so much. It really does mean a lot to me.
Meow.
Know that I will touch myself thinking about you tonight.
All right. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get started. Ben, tell me what you've been playing this week.
I have been playing through the end of Red Dead.
And you cried.
It's a sad game.
You did? Oh, did you, did the sickness take hold?
No, I went back
Spoiler
for
alert.
the money.
Fascinating.
And so,
Yes, but then yeah, I'm playing through the epilogues now. So that's it seems like it may have some satisfaction.
Uncle,
At
you
least.
dumb
Yeah, as far
bastard.
as I got into it, the epilogue was pretty cool, but then I bought a different game.
We're going to hear about that
Okay.
in
Still
a
not in
bit.
chapter 2, so
Andrew, I'm with you, Tim. Andrew, I want you to keep it real succinct because I know what you're going to talk about, and
You
I
already
know that you're
talked
going to
about it
talk about
once.
it later.
I've been playing Dark Souls. No, I'm just
Oh.
kidding.
Monster Hunter.
No, I just been
Not
playing
disrespectful.
Subnautica just like crazy. I still can't believe I'm only on my first playthrough, and I'm like probably like 45, 50 hours in or something, and I'm just very slowly like venturing further and further out. That game is really, really, really cool.
Have you
It's
started
weirdly
going down yet?
therapeutic because I find myself doing new stuff, and I realize that my butthole is clenched so tight that I could make a diamond. And then I get to a part where I feel somewhat safe, and the relief is magic.
All right. All right. Butthole clenching. Tim, tell me what you've been playing this week.
I've been playing a lot of Xbox this week, actually. I got back into Game Pass, and I've been playing Cube 2.
Okay.
It's a puzzle platformer, kind of like Portal. So if you like that kind of thing, check it
Yeah.
out.
They made a second one?
Yes, they did.
Fucking
And
course,
it's
Andrew knows what that is.
And it's
I played the
incredibly
first one.
Yeah, Andrew
easy to
doesn't
get all
have an
1,000
Xbox.
achievement points. So
They have it on PlayStation. They have the first
Yeah,
one on
but
PlayStation.
you don't have. There's no Game Pass.
And Game Pass is only $1, right, Tim? Did you get that deal?
Is it? No,
I-
I've had it for like $10 for like a while now.
Oh, I got Game Pass, a month of Game Pass the other day for $1. Anyone who has Game Pass and wants to play some Division with me soon, I'm needing to capture.
I might think about it.
We should also start playing Red Dead Online on Xbox with Billy.
I still haven't made my character.
I mean, I'd have to buy Red Dead for Xbox, so maybe.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, you're not. You don't have to.
Yeah. And I actually played a bunch of games this week. It's actually been 2 weeks since our last show. I played some Smash, whipped Ben's ass. I played some Kart, whipped Ben's ass.
Happened.
I played some tennis, whipped Ben's ass.
Damn, you're just a Nintendo king.
You only beat me once in tennis.
That's because I wasn't there.
This
I
man
also played
Nintendo
through,
does. He doesn't Nintendo don't.
I also played through the Spider-Man DLC, so that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Worth it?
That's a no.
No, I would say no. It's not worth $25.
Oh,
Fair enough.
It's
But wait,
like-
that's not all of them yet, is it?
it is all of them.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so they play. I mean, I guess time-wise, it's worth it because it's like a solid 7 hours, maybe 7.5, and they did some like really cool character work with Yuri, but then just in the second episode, but then just really left it. I don't know. It was really hit and miss. Like the first one was really boring. The second one was like really good. The third one was like, this is okay.
Not as good as Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I don't think anything Spider-Man is as good as Into the Spider-Verse. That movie was fucking amazing.
Really? Oh man, I want to see it really bad now.
Dude, it is the best Spider-Man movie.
By far.
Damn.
Ever.
Really?
Full
Damn.
stop.
Fuck. Oh,
Better than Spider-Man 3?
fucking love Spider-Man. All right, well, I might like this weekend just have to like sneak out of our house and go watch it by myself.
You got to. It's
Nobody's
so
gonna want to
good.
go see it with me.
I guarantee Ben would go see it again.
I want to go see it again. I think I might get Billy and Liz to go see it again with me, and I think Chris wants to see it too, so.
Andrew, you got a group to go with. It's so fucking good. All right, but this isn't our movies podcast. This is our video games podcast. It's time for the news in 5.
How quick is it? It's only in 5.
5!
Persona 5R. That was a little bit of an abstract, like modern art. A little bit of a tune. Real tune.
I don't know if
quick.
I'd classify
Oh
it as
shit, I'm on a
art.
timer. Persona 5R. Some leaks happened and eventually a very vague trailer for the game called Persona 5R have come out over the last couple weeks. Speculation is running wild, and the most prominent theory is that it's some sort of Persona 5 racing spinoff. So
Sounds lame.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
The when they
Persona
had the
spin-offs
Persona
are pretty
5 like
sweet.
dancing game, I was immediately like, oh,
Dancing all night?
what has become of you?
Oh god, Ben's got me on the clock.
You are
All right.
dancing queen.
Splinter Cell 7 did at one point exist in at least a conceptual stage. Former Ubisoft employee Jade Raymond, who left Ubisoft Montreal in October of 2014, and that is the studio that was behind the subjectively best Splinter Cell games, Splinter Cell 1, Chaos Theory, and the 6th gen version of Double Agent.
One stone in Pandora tomorrow.
She left the company, and she has recently confirmed that when she left the company, Splinter Cell 7 was in development. Now, after this news has come out, and there was that Sam Fisher cameo in Ghost Recon Wildlands last year, do you guys think that we're ever going to see Splinter Cell come back? Do you think it's coming to fruition?
I mean,
I don't know.
probably, but I don't see it anytime soon. Maybe 2 or 3 years from now on the next gen, but
Yeah.
not current gen.
I'm kind of
Yeah,
with
probably
you,
not.
Tim. I'm thinking maybe next
And I'm
gen.
fearful they'll make it too easy.
Like Conviction.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I miss
Conviction
like
was
Chaos
too
Theory and Pandora
easy.
Tomorrow, where you like really had to
It
go
was
slow.
fucking hard. All right.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I've only got 3 minutes and 8 seconds left. Mario Tennis Aces DLC has been announced. Luma is a free DLC character coming to Mario Tennis Aces.
Oh my
Ooh.
god!
Whoop-de-doo, Basil.
Probably going to be a tricky one.
Probably. She'll
And-
probably be my new favorite.
Ben plays those trickies.
I don't understand how to play with her and Rosalina in Smash, but
They're the exact
Oh,
same
yeah.
thing as Peach
Ben
and
got
Toad.
stomped playing as Rosalina in Smash. And a rumored Nintendo Direct. I have half my time left, so I'm glad that I do for this one. Rumors have arisen that the next Nintendo Direct will be happening on January 10th. This does make quite a bit of sense because Nintendo typically has a Direct in early January, and they haven't announced the NES games coming to Nintendo Switch Online in January yet, and those are expected to be released near the middle of the month. So announce it, a few days later they're out.
do
Honestly,
they
I
keep
wouldn't-
all of them on there, or do they change them?
So it's not like 2 or 3 at a time. The library is continuing to build, but it's going to be a lot like Netflix, from my understanding, where like they'll have a large library and like they'll add some and take some off periodically.
Yeah,
Depending on
because
how
I
well they
played
do.
I played a little bit of it, and there was not very many games on there.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
not right now.
The real
Unfortunately.
moneymaker there is Mario Bros. 3.
Shake your money maker.
Okay, so if you guys, I want to know one
Minute
thing you
27.
guys could wish for at this Direct. What would it be?
Metroid Prime.
Metroid Prime
Honestly,
4
I wouldn't be
or
surprised
Metroid
if they-
Prime Trilogy?
I want to see some fucking Metroid.
What you just want Metroid? It doesn't matter what.
Yep, nope, any of them.
Excite bike.
Yeah,
'Cause-
that's pretty awesome.
Man, the Metroid game for Wii, perfect. A Metroid using the motion controls on the Switch, perfection.
All right, Ben,
Excite bike.
Ooh.
why not Excite Truck?
Because bikes are cooler than trucks.
I don't know, dude. Did you ever play Excite Truck? That game was sweet.
I have that game. It's amazing.
Yeah, I really loved that
Cluster
game.
truck.
Truck.
All right, Tim, tell me what you want to see.
Okay, you guys know my standard answer, so I'm just gonna push that out the window. Honestly, I really want to see F-Zero.
Oh,
Ooh, that would be cool.
that
Cool
would be
race.
cool.
I need a new racing game.
Yeah, they only have Super Mario Karts, or not Super Mario Kart.
They
Mario
do
Kart.
have Fast RMX, which is kind of a
similar.
spin-off,
Not like a Wipeout.
kind of ish, yeah. But
Alright.
but no, I want to see a true F-Zero game.
Nice. All right, and I would like to see ports of the Wii U HD Zelda games. There it
That'd
is.
be nice.
We did it. We nailed it. Good job,
That'd be
guys.
cool. I could definitely see the game. That'd be fun.
I would, but in a perfect world, like if I could really have whatever I wanted,
I would
I
just
would love it
play
if-
Twilight Princess on Switch.
I would love it if they would
That'd
do
be that.
like 2 or 3 Zelda collections. If they did a 3D collection where they have like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, and then
With the
like a 2D
Them all.
collection,
Yeah, I would love to play Link's Awakening again.
Link's
or like
Awakening,
Link to the
Minish
Past.
Cap, Link to the
Oh,
Past,
Minish
Worlds,
Cap. Oh my god. I remember playing that on
Oracles
an
of Ages,
emulator on my computer.
and Seasons. Like release 2 Zelda collections for $100 each. I'll buy them both.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty cool.
I don't
I
know
would
about
definitely
that
buy a
price point.
3D collection if I could replay Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess and get to
On
actually play
Switch?
Skyward
Oh,
Sword.
God.
That'd be awesome. I never played Skyward Sword.
Oh, Ben's coming, even thinking about it.
Everything got sticky. Look,
Ah, gross, Ben.
gross.
Just pull your wiener till white
You
stuff
think
comes
about your
out.
mom and you pull on your wiener.
Wait,
Oh.
what?
That's what they say in the show.
He's
I
got
don't
a
think
tug
that's
on
what
it.
they say.
bro.
You think
Are
about
talking
Cartman's
about-
mom and you pull on your wiener.
Oh, you think about Cartman's mom.
All right. Now it's time for the topic of the show.
It's the topic of the show.
The topic of the show.
Topic
Topic of the show.
Nice. That one was beautiful and less abstract, less like depth to that one. It was more just very surface level, very, very enjoyable. It was like a jingle rather than
Glad you
like number 9. All right. Yeah, you know that Beatles song that was fucking annoying? All right. the topic of the show this week, we're going to be talking about not only the game of the year for 2018, but also the best games we played in 2018, regardless of what year they came out. So, I kind of feel like we're all in agreement on what the 3 best games were this year.
Yeah.
I mean, God of War came out on April 20th.
Flawless.
Oh,
Red
Ben,
Dead.
You can say it. Yep, there it is.
And the web slinger himself.
And the web slinger himself. So we're going to go through these one at a time, discuss them a little bit, look back on them. God of War was the first big one, the first big heavy hitter this year. Came out on April 20th, exclusive to the PlayStation 4. Now, Ben and Andrew, I know you guys got way into this game.
God of War?
Yeah.
Yeah. I platinumed the shit out of it.
Exactly.
I did
I didn't
literally
platinum
everything you
it.
could do in that game. And god damn it, Niflheim is the worst place I've ever... Like, why? Why did they make that? It's such a stupid realm. Like, this is the most fucking grindy shit I've ever done. Like,
That's the most grindy shit you've ever done, and you're in love with fucking Monster Hunter.
you shut your goddamn mouth about
Subnautica.
Yes. Okay. But so I mean, God of War was great, right? Like it was a complete
it's the only of the
reinvention.
3 that I have yet to play on the Pro, and I kind of want to replay it on the Pro and just see
Man.
what it looks like. Because God, even on the regular PS4, that game was like, mwah, fucking
Oh, yeah.
beautiful.
It was gorgeous. And do you have a 4K
But
TV?
sexual.
Now I do, yeah.
Okay, so playing God of War on a PS4 Pro on a 4K TV, you're looking at that shit and you're like even the most layman people that don't understand, like even people that never even like look at video games. Like Jillian walked in while I was playing it and I was like, you can fucking see his pores on the back of his head.
On the back of his head.
Like how that's
like,
fucking
you
impressive.
can watch him sweat, like literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, part of me really wants to replay it because I have glasses now and can actually see.
Oh,
Yeah.
whoa.
If I replayed it, I wouldn't have to focus on any of the collectibles. I could literally just
do the
story
story.
run the whole thing, and it would probably take, what is it, like an 8-hour story?
It's like
Yeah, it's not that long.
I think it's like a 20.
Maybe like
story.
5 or... Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a longer story than you think it is.
I don't know, because there's a lot of paddling around in your little canoe, but when you're paddling to like the specific fucking location, that's like, I feel like the game can't be more than like 10 hours long, but neither here nor there.
Jillian and I are going through it right now because we're just doing the story because I was like, this is such a good story that you need to play it and you need to at least watch me play it. It's great. And so she's watching me play it right now. We're about 3 or 4 hours in and we're like not even close. We haven't even gotten to Mimir yet. So,
Oh, wow.
but
Dang.
God, that game was so good. And
I would love to play that game and specifically like make myself only use the axe for the entire thing. Like, don't even use the Blades of Chaos once you get them.
I mean, you kind of have to for a few enemies, but I mean, besides that,
I guess that's true.
that's true.
But no, I don't know. If your stick is big enough, you can beat down any monster.
Oh my God. All right. HowLongToBeat.com says that the main story is 20 hours.
Damn.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn.
But that, like, it was a complete reinvention of a series that I would argue kind of really needed it. And it did it in such like a serviceable way. And it brought a lot of depth to the character, and it made, I don't know, it's very much one of those situations, a lot like Naughty Dog games, where it's like it's growing up with us. And so God of War definitely appealed to like the angsty teens
of our generation. Yeah.
Yeah, and now this one is much more like you're adults now and you have like real shit going
Real
on.
story.
Yeah.
We're not just going to show you harpies with their tits flopping around.
Which I gotta say, I don't like. I don't.
Or it
It's
was
not like
for
I'm
the-
happy they're gone.
The Gorgons.
I wish.
The Lamias. Lamia.
I wish there were more tits in this game. But Ben, you played the fuck out of God of War.
It was pretty awesome. I mean, yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it thoroughly.
That's all you have to say? I mean, you had the gold armor before you even flipped the temple.
Probably.
Oh yeah.
It was. It was fun. I really enjoyed fighting.
Yeah.
things.
Everything.
I really enjoy. I've liked all the God of War games.
Yeah.
Got to tell you, going through and killing all those Phantom Ravens sucked. There were a lot of them.
Phantom Raven sounds like a Metal Gear villain.
Phantom Raven.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Personally, God of War was my game of the year. It was so just really like such a tight experience with just fantastic visuals, great gameplay,
A very good story. Yeah.
Do you guys think that there's going to be
character
DLC?
development?
I don't see DLC coming for it. They would have already announced it, not at this late stage in the game.
Yeah, because
I just want the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping, at first when they had all like from the world tree, there's several different areas that you can't ever access, and I was wondering, yeah, maybe DLC. But now I would just prefer it if they just made a second one and
Yeah.
opened up all those areas.
I just want a second one.
The fuck ass kicking.
Yeah, I just want a second one to fight Thor. Like, I'm really psyched to fight Thor in the second one.
What if you get to play more as
Atreus.
yeah.
That would be cool. I would love like Atreus.
What if he's not even a boy?
Yeah, especially the very end of it. Teen. It would be cool. Well, no, because
Young man.
that scene with Thor does say like several years later,
Yeah.
and they're still the same age. So maybe they'll do like multiple year jumps.
Yeah, that would be really crazy.
That would be
If like this trilogy takes place over the course of
20 years or something.
Atreus
like,
is see Atreus become a man.
fulfills the prophecy in the cave and becomes
God.
Loki. Spoiler.
Young man.
young man. That's such a good game. So, personally, that's my favorite game that came out in 2018. It was so fantastic and just such a fantastic overall package. I'm so excited for the new one or for the second one or the fifth one, I guess.
Will be cool.
It's
Have
just
to be
a great
patient.
game. Do you guys think it's going to be a PS5 launch title?
Probably not. Maybe
We'll probably
a year
get
after launch.
Oh, yeah.
Ben just furrowed his brow.
I mean, I'd like it to be, but I don't think it's going to be.
All right. And then we did have on September 7th, Marvel's Spider-Man. Now,
slinging,
we all played quite a bit of this game, too.
Yeah.
changing
close to
costumes.
platinuming that too. I have to get like just a few final things, and I'll platinum that game too.
Oh, you're close to platinum that one?
Actually, we're really close to platinuming it as well.
Yeah, all of those like major release titles I've platinumed for the most part. God of War platinum, except for Red Dead.
Red Dead.
I'm pretty far from Red Dead, but I'm getting there.
I feel like it would be really hard to platinum Red Dead.
You have to do the online.
Yeah, there are online trophies. I feel like, God, Red Dead is probably the most intimidating platform. If not the most, one of the most intimidating platinums on the PlayStation 4. But we're talking about Spider-Man right now. So, what did you guys like about Spider-Man?
Swinging,
Yeah, the
slinging,
traversal.
The movement
Villains.
was the best part of that game.
Tim, did you finish
story.
it?
I did.
God, the story surprised me in how much I cared about it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. And the characters too, like really.
It was better than any Spider-Man movie except Enter the Spider-Verse.
No, it wasn't better than Spider-Man 2.
I think it was.
I don't know, man. I cried at the end. I got pretty emotional.
Pat
Yeah.
cried at the end of Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I did. So, Andrew, you mentioned the characters. That's what I was going to mention. Like, I was going to say, so, like, the story was good, but it felt fairly, like, run-of-the-mill. Like, very good run-of-the-mill, but fairly run-of-the-mill the entire time. But at the end, when Aunt May died, I just, like...
Yeah,
I
that
cried.
really caught me by surprise. The
I
rest of it
lost
was
it,
rather
murdered
like
the person.
traditional to the Spider-Man story, but I did not expect, Aunt May to die.
Yeah, that really caught me by surprise. I didn't see that coming, and I don't know. I cried, and then I realized, like, wow, they did a lot of really good, like, character building in order to get me to cry. So, and
That's how I was with The Last of Us, and it only took them 15 minutes.
I know, God, The Last of Us made me cry in 15 minutes. But so Spider-Man, also one of the prettiest games of the year, like really, really good looking until he took his mask off, until you interact with like humans. The human models look kind of goofy in that game.
A little bit.
Just a
But they
bit.
have kind of a cartoonish charm to them, like the comics, so I'm giving it a pass.
Yeah. And I don't know. There's a lot of things that like Spider-Man kind of harkens back to that play on the nostalgia factor that make me like, yeah, you can have a pass on this. One of the things, so I played through all 3 chapters of the DLC on New Year's Day. And one of the things that really like struck me was how incredibly video gamey this game is. Like, it really does remind me of something from like the PS2, Xbox, GameCube generation, where like I don't know, just a lot of the dialogue, a lot of the movements, a lot of the observations that Spider-Man makes they look like a canned video game. And they're just like the bad guys get out of the car and they're like, yeah, let's go over here. And they like
Let's
walk
fucking
over.
do it.
Exactly. And
We're
it's just, like,
criminals.
it just feels so
Some call us
incredibly
thugs.
so incredibly video gamey. And that's something that since that generation, since the 6th generation of consoles, developers have really found a lot of ways to overcome and make those motions feel much more fluid. But Insomniac, it feels like, as good as a developer as Insomniac is, there's no way that they don't know how to overcome that. It feels like they almost intentionally made it feel video gamey. And that's really cool, because it did harken back to, like, I spent hours playing Spider-Man 2 on my... I played Spider-Man 2 on my Xbox. And, like, I spent hours playing that game, and it was awesome. And this kind of takes me back to that feeling.
I know
It's
they
your
referenced
own
that game.
Spider-Man story.
It is. Tim, what'd you say?
I know they referenced that game a lot, Spider-Man 2, the original one. I know that it was completely a love letter to it. You could see it throughout the entirety of the game.
Absolutely. And, like, I know that, what's that guy that, like, designed the swinging in Spider-Man 2? I know that Insomniac talked to him quite a bit as they were, like, designing the
Trying
game.
to keep that same, but
Yeah.
improve upon it. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, I think that in many ways it is much, like, the traversal is much better. In one main way, I would say it's not as good, and that's I wish each trigger was one hand for webs. But there was so much going on in that game that was so good, and the traversal was the main thing that really kept me in. It's fun to just move around.
Yeah. It's fun to just, especially with how well they detailed the whole city. Like, a lot of those places, it was fun to actually go to where, like, my mom lives and my brother lives. And, you know, obviously they're not exact, but
It's
where
close.
it's weirdly close, even
Yeah.
down to the details of, like, the underpass, like the 405 or whatever it's called, like, highway that's right there.
Yeah, so it's like, it's interesting because I've heard people talk about it and say, like, yeah, I went to, like, my college apartment, and, like, I wish that there was a pizza place on the ground floor of the building that I lived in, when I was in college, because that would have been killer, like there is in the game. But like other than that, it's pretty much 1-to-1. Like it's killing it with that. It's I found where I lived, and that's really strange that a game is able to make such an accurate recreation of New York City and like a real life place, and with so much detail. And I felt like while that was really amazing, it was something that also kind of worked against the game, because it did make the game feel somewhat empty, because they have this incredibly detailed recreation of New York, but there weren't nearly enough people in it.
Yeah, there should have been the frame rate would have gone crazy down. If there were as many people as there actually are in New York, you'd be like really pissed off.
Like,
you'd land on the
quadruple the
street
RAM.
and immediately you'd be like knocked over by another person.
Yeah, you would need like 32 gigs RAM just to keep track of the people in the frame.
Yeah.
Oh, kind of like the scene in Enter the Spider-Verse when he gets walked over on the crosswalk.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, God, Into the Spider-Verse was so good. So there have been 3 major iterations of Spider-Man this year. Tom Holland is far and away the worst of the 3, which is surprising because it's the MCU.
Actually, there's more than 3.
There are a bunch of different ones, including Peter Porker. I want you to have this. It fits in your pocket. God. You guys gotta go see this movie. Is he allowed to say that? Like, legally? But, so no, I think that, like, I loved Into the Spider-Verse. I thought it was a fantastic iteration of Spider-Man. This one is a little bit more grounded and serious. Like, the Insomniac Spider-Man is a little more grounded and serious than Into the Spider-Verse. But I still think that it's much better than Marvel's, the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of Spider-Man. And I don't think that that's bad. I think that that's, like, Homecoming was a good movie, but I think that Insomniac Spider-Man is so much better.
No, that's a tall order.
Yeah, I mean, Tim, you're a big Spider-Man guy.
Yeah.
How do you think that Insomniac Spider-Man compares to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Honestly, I'd say they're about on par. Probably just because I'm a bit more invested in Marvel's Cinematic Universe at this point, just because it's been around for so long. But, I mean, I didn't really cry at the end of Infinity War when he kind of bit the dust. And,
Spoiler alert, Spider-Man dies at the end of Infinity War.
Who hasn't seen Infinity War yet? Come on.
He turns to
feel so
dust,
good, Mr.
literally.
So,
But I don't think he's going to be dead.
no, he's
they'll bring him
literally
back.
signed for another movie, another solo movie.
Oh, that'll still be good.
Or they could just change Spider-Man again.
Well, I mean, we know that there are a lot of Spider-Men out there.
It'll be Miles Morales this time around.
Lots of Spider-Men,
And,
not Spider-Boys.
and one of them was bitten by a radioactive pig.
Spider-Pig.
Was he a spider to begin with, then?
So that's a good question,
Yeah.
Tim. Maybe you should go watch Into the Spider-Verse.
I hate you.
So,
Okay.
then, Ben, I want you to tell me what came out on October 26th.
Red Dead.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
What?
I only played about 10 or 15 hours of this game. I only got, like, I think I'm 23% of the way through the story. So I don't have a ton to say about it, but I do recognize its quality. Ben, I'm going to need you and Andrew to steer this conversation.
Well, it's, I mean, certainly a glorious video game. It's one of the most effortlessly engaging games I think I've ever played.
Well, and it's just also like recreation of life, I guess. Like
Yeah.
having to eat, having chores around the camp, having to feed your horse, having to brush your horse. I mean, granted, you're only brushing the horse's neck, which seems a little absurd.
And then he gets
But
Oh yeah, that's like, God, friggin' Rockstar, not realistic at all. You only have to brush the horse's neck.
But that's where the meat is, you know.
I
something
would
like
argue the
that.
meat is in the ass.
That's where the meat of the horse is, right in the neck,
Yeah,
you
it's right in the
know.
haunches, I thought.
But yeah, I mean, and then the story is just, I mean, spectacular.
Killer, yeah, really.
Yeah, the story is really, really good. I mean, I don't think that there's ever been a prequel video game that's has as good of a story. And now I'm sure Pat's going to yell Metal Gear something.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, like the development of all the characters and even minor people that live in your camp, doing things for them and with them and getting the opportunity to like do random activities with them was even something as subtle as that made all of these side characters really flushed out.
Really,
or
really.
like,
When stuff would happen, you'd be like,
yeah, like
"Kill it! Grab the rifle."
there was this guy, this old veteran guy who I came upon one day, and his horse had run off, and his fake leg was stuck in the saddle, and so I went and I got his horse for him, and then I brought it back, and then he wanted me to come meet him at his house to go fishing one time, and so we did that, and then he wanted me to go hunting with him, so we did that, and then he wanted me to go hunting with him a third time, and he got killed while we were hunting by a boar, a
What?
gigantic boar.
Oh,
And then he gave me his horse.
oh, that's interesting.
It was a really cool little side mission.
Yeah, I had
He's
one.
a really cool guy, though. No, I was kind of sad when he died.
Like I had one where just a guy I was riding out of the town, out of Saint Denis, and a guy in front of me just sort of like keels over and falls off of his horse, and I just decided to get off the horse and help him. Long story short, the guy had been bitten by a snake. I took him all the way into town to the doctor, brought him into the doctor's office, literally watched the doctor bring him back, put him on a table, knock him out, and then saw his fucking arm off. And then
What?
turn to me and go like, "We'll discuss my payment later." And he like saws his arm off, throws it in a bucket, and he like hits the dude with like an antiseptic and an anesthetic, and like this all happens while I'm just standing there, like, and I just followed them back. And then after that all kind of happened, like the doctor kind of just got up and returned back to his work while the guy was just like passed out on the table or like on the chair. And then of course, you know, a little while later I was riding through town and the guy runs out into the street and he's missing an arm and he's like, "Hello, like it's you, like you're the one that like saved me from like dying." Like, and I think same thing, he gave me some discount at a store. But just even like
You're
I was
making
just on
this
my
up.
way to go do something else, and I just saw a guy fall.
Same
off
thing
his-
happened to me.
and that him falling off of the horse created like a whole side thing, that
whole
had
story.
no connotation, literally no relation to anything else I was doing in the game. But it was like one of the most interesting little side tidbits to ever happen. And just standing there, like while the doctor's like, you might want to get out of here. This part usually makes people queasy. And he turns and he just takes a bone saw out and starts sawing the dude's arm off. And as he's doing it, even the NPC of the doctor is getting sprayed with like blood speckles.
Oh
And
my God.
I could have just, after I had brought the guy there, I could have just walked away. I didn't have to watch any of that, but I stood there and decided to like follow them back and see what they were doing. And that was all just happening whether I was there or not. And I just remember
Jesus.
thinking that and thinking, wow, that's like,
That's
is
some next
really
level shit
interesting.
right there.
Yeah.
Then there's also the guy who's just being held underneath the one of the gunsmiths, and he's
Yeah.
just being forced to dress up like the guy's son, the gunsmith's son.
Or like
It's really
daughter.
creepy.
Oh, no, is he? Oh, yeah, he's dressed in like a little sailor boy outfit.
Yeah.
Wow.
I shot the
weird.
store owner
Okay.
right in the face after that. I like turned and took out a sawn off and blew his fucking head right off. And then I came back to that town and the store owner was alive again, but he had like bandages all over his face. And he was like, I don't want
What?
I don't want any trouble. Like, just get out of here. And I just walked up to the counter and like flipped open the book and just was like,
so this seems to be where this game seemed to really shine, was like the world being alive, like, because there are so many.
That guy should not have been alive. The last part of his face was like
okay,
a little crescent
not literally alive, Andrew, but like kind of what we were saying about Spider-Man and its weakness being like it's a little too empty. It sounds like Red Dead is the total opposite in that like the NPCs all have their own stories.
I wonder what would happen if you throw dynamite at people, sometimes their limbs blow off. I wonder what would happen if you threw dynamite at the shopkeeper and his leg blew off.
Just like come back.
Oh,
he's on a crutch. He's hemmed all his pants legs.
That would
Just
be incredibly
only
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, only once did I ever hog tie somebody and dragged them down like a dirt path until they died. But I did it.
I only ever did that
that
one time.
motherfucker deserved it.
I
went and I
get very
saved this
frustrated
goddamn horse. And he turned on me when I
because
got
I
him
want
his
them
horse
to
back.
live for 1,000 meters, and they won't make it 1,000 meters.
They never live 1,000 meters as I drag them behind my horse. Rude.
The
It
best,
is
yeah.
so-
Or like taking the hillbilly in the bayou who like fucking rapes you. Yeah, there's an instance where you can go and like a creepy bayou dude like comes out on his patio and he's like, "Well, hi, stranger. Like, why don't you come on in? I got some supper." And if you walk into the door, he like clubs you over the head, and in the darkness you hear like belt buckles being undone, and then you wake up like way on like the edge of town. And I went back there and found him, and when I went back, he recognizes you and freaked out and like runs back in his house. And I just pulled out the lasso and went up and kicked the fucking door in and just hogtied his bitch ass, and then just dragged him into the bayou and just threw him to an alligator. And it was like,
Wow.
while he was hogtied.
I just blew his head off.
Very satisfying. I mean, I
Ben-
killed both.
Ben
I
just
killed
got
him
both
and the
heads.
alligator with TNT. I was just like,
Both heads.
Wow.
but that
so,
like so many fucking weird moments.
so it sounds like the
Kind of like when the yellow bastard gets killed in Sin City
Ooh.
was what I did.
yeah.
Satisfying.
That was such a good
Disarm it. Both weapons.
So
Take away.
it sounds like the strength of Red Dead is the story, both the main story and the stories that every single NPC has to tell.
Yeah, I think it's just like this very organic. Like it all feels very organic. Like no interaction ever feels forced. It always just feels like something you decided to just kind of be like, "Hi,"
I'm
and
gonna
then
do
something
this.
comes of that. Yeah, and then like something huge will like come of just sort of saying hi to like a random stranger.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that you guys are making me kind of want to try it again. I don't know.
It's one of my favorite things that I realized is that anytime at night you see a light, go to it.
Yeah, KKK
Go
people
to
being
it.
stupid.
All right, so we need to decide on game of the year. I mean, I think that if we're deciding on the one that we all, because like last year we all had different choices for first, and we wound up all of us had the same second choice.
Mhm.
So last year we all chose Horizon Zero Dawn as our second choice, and that was our game of the year last year. I don't think that God of War is my second choice, but I think that it's most everyone else's second choice.
Yeah,
Tim?
I definitely enjoyed God of War more than Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah. Tim?
Yeah, no. God of War is probably my number one this year.
Same. Ben?
Red Dead.
I mean,
I might
I'm
go
not
with God of
surprised.
War as my top two. Like Red Dead is fun, but God of War, like there's a level of like that you get from that when you're just like beating down on a group of enemies and ripping dudes in half, and then you just hear Kratos like being fucking crazy, like very satisfying. I like that kind of stuff. I like it when a video game really like makes me feel those punches.
all right. I mean, I like I guess we voted the Cold North game of the year 2018 is God of War, and Red Dead is definitely the runner-up. Like, it's got to be. So, not that we matter, but congratulations, Cory Barlog and Sony Santa Monica, Red Dead or God of War game of the year.
You did it.
You did it.
You earned our respect, and now you can rest in peace.
Now, I also
Make another one.
Make another one.
No,
please.
make another one.
We can't wait.
Get back in there.
But we also want to talk about what some of the best games that we played this year that didn't come out in 2018 are. Andrew, I'm going to let you go first, but please don't make me regret that.
Nah, you're gonna. I mean, I mean, yeah, Subnautica. As a person who really enjoys like those sorts of solo run sort of survival type games, like as someone who loves No Man's Sky, Minecraft, all that crap, Subnautica like completely takes the cake for the hands down like best survival game I've ever played, story wise and atmospherically.
Wow. Okay, so
Even more than Monster Hunter?
even more than Monster Hunter?
No, I love Monster Hunter, but Monster Hunter is a different type of game. There's something about being able to take my time with a survival game and think, okay, like I got a blueprint for like this cool new building piece that'll really help me like make my life easier. What do I need for it? Okay, I need this stuff. And then I go out and I like make it my mission to go collect those resources, and I know kind of where they will be. That's the thing I like about Subnautica is like Minecraft is definitely just sort of a crapshoot. You're like, I'm just going to dig a hole here and hopefully I find some fucking diamonds. Where like Subnautica, like different areas and depths are where you'll find resources. So if you like need something specific, it's really not very hard to go find it, especially if you've been somewhere where you kind of know where it might be.
Are you gonna buy a PSVR to play Subnautica?
I don't know. I feel like the PSVR is not sharp enough yet to do it. Like, the Pro.
The PS5 VR?
Like the Pro makes the game look amazing. Like the water effects and the lighting effects are really, really well done. But like in VR, I imagine it would be cool, but I think it would sort of take from just
From the
how
immersion.
Yeah, it would sort of take away from
Subnautica
some
2.
of that. But God, if I was playing in VR with like headphones or something, and I was just hearing like all the sounds that you constantly hear in the water, that would certainly be really freaky. Because if you like hear something, you like turn around, like what the hell was that?
Yeah, exactly. So, Andrew, I was actually listening to our podcast from a couple weeks ago, and you mentioned that you've just been exploring laterally and not vertically yet.
I very, very recently began exploring more vertically, and I've gone down to like what I know is not the deepest area, but it's like I think the deepest is like 17 or 1800, and I'm at about like 900 meters right now.
Oh, so you're like halfway there.
Yeah, and but I've been making it my mission to make little bases, and then you can build these like energy beacons that'll shoot energy, so that my main base all the way in the surface is generating power for all of the bases that are deep, 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 deep down in the ocean that can't get sunlight power, or that like I haven't found like a thermal vent to make power from. So I've been really having fun with that because it's almost like building a tether in a cave. You're kind of like, oh, well, it helps make you feel a little safer.
All right. Well, why don't you buy
Cave?
I'm really excited because they're having a fucking DLC for it is coming out in like a few months.
It's almost
like Arctic below zero world kind of stuff, and I am pretty I've been like researching it, and I'm positive they're going to release that for the PS4, and I am 100% gonna buy that because that's like the only DLC where I've seen in my future of like that would be like a whole other game. And I just like the Witcher DLCs, I'm like, that's like a whole other game that just rekindles my love.
It's almost like you should buy a PSVR. Ben, tell me what the best game you played in 2018 that didn't come out in 2018 was.
Duh.
Red Dead.
Overwatch.
I feel like that's a little bit cheating, but okay.
It's the best.
We did play the shit out of Overwatch.
Overwatch is really good.
I mean, I play a lot with Tim. I play a lot with my friend Nuts, and yeah, I fucking love that game. It's one of the best. And we played a bunch with Dom, and you even got back into it for a little while, Patrick.
Yeah, it's still such a good game, and I actually
I
going
anticipate
back to it,
I'll probably play it a bunch this year.
yeah, probably. Going back to it, I actually learned a new character. So typically, I've mained Tracer, Reinhardt, and Mercy. And this time around, when we played it, I played a lot of Pharah, which was really fun. I really enjoyed Pharah. I learned to play her fairly well, and Ben, you and I learned to use her as a team fairly well. So your Reinhardt ult to knock them all down, and then my Pharah ult to kill them all once they're all knocked out. It was just a killer combo that we started to work on pretty well. We should play some more Overwatch. Like we should have an Overwatch night soon.
Get it for
Load it up
Xbox.
after we're done with this.
Get it for Xbox, Patrick.
I might. Oh, that would be the third time I bought it. God.
Oh, it's only like $20 now. You're good.
Ben, did you play anything else that really struck a chord with you? Oh, he just owed himself into.
I don't know.
You don't know.
What? Yeah, I can't think of anything particularly.
You enjoyed that Madden story.
It was an interesting story. Definitely. Not very much football, but an interesting story.
All right. Andrew, I'm going to come back to you real quick. I don't want you to talk about Subnautica. I'm sorry. Were there any other games that stood out to you as really great this year?
I mean, I would say Monster Hunter World has actually added quite a few more monsters. I did recently re-download that, but I haven't turned it on again. Honestly, actually, another really interesting game that I played was Rime. I thought Rime was a really beautiful game and had a very interesting ending that I thought was. I love games that have sort of an abstract visualization of a mental, something going on. Actually, you know what? Hellblade.
Oh,
that
yeah.
is one of the greatest short games I've ever played, and I played it with really nice headphones that gave full surround sound. And that game, I know, is meant to be a representation of someone going through dementia and the like hallucinogens that are like hallucinations that they experience. And playing it, I played it in 2 sit downs, and I remember like taking off my headphones each time and just thinking and kind of feeling like not stressed, but just sort of like very
Off.
very, very like off. Yeah, it was like because these moments and they have these deep guttural like sounds of these creatures talking to you, and the representation of Ragnarok and this voice, this like disembodied voice that constantly like flies around you and talks to you when you're like having these breakdown moments. Very, very powerful game experience. And I thought the game, like from start to finish, was really well done. And it even had parts that were like very, very scary while not making you feel like you were just freaking out.
Yeah. I've heard that game is really good. That's Ninja Theory. And they actually recently got bought by Microsoft. So we'll see what they do next. I'll be interested to see what they do next.
Smash Brothers.
We all played Smash this
Yep.
year.
Everyone
That
loves
was definitely
Smash.
a standout to all of us.
Mario Party.
So we'll
Smash
touch
is
on Mario
better.
Party. Tim, I want to hear what some of the best games you played this year or this past year.
God, where do I start? Like, I'm trying to think like of all the ones that I actually played this year that didn't come out this year. I think one of them that I played that I really enjoyed was Tak and the Power of Juju for the GameCube.
Oh, that's some bad juju.
Yeah, it
Oh, that's good juju.
It's more of a kid's game. It was made by THQ for Nickelodeon. But some of the humor in it was
that's a
some of
great
the best
game.
that I've seen in like years.
Like,
So
I
that-
love that game that game is really funny. Like, some
Or
guy's like
Juju was
got
the kid.
diarrhea and he like runs around the corner and you just hear him fart and you just hear him go, "Oh, that's good juju."
It's really cute, crude humor, but it's fucking amazing.
And it's like, as like a person, you're like, God damn it, I can't believe I found that funny.
And Tim, are you going to play TAC 2?
I have played TAC 2. I actually played all 3 of the TAC games this year.
All right. Which one was your favorite?
Definitely the first one. The second one, it kind of gets away from the comedy, and it just, I don't know, it didn't hit me as well. And then the third one, the Great Juju Challenge, was a 2-player co-op game. So that one was kind of hard to find someone to play with, but it was decent enough. Not as, again, good as the first, though.
Okay.
That definitely are like very hit or miss. Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
either you're gonna play with someone and you're both gonna just have a great time, or you're never gonna get anyone who like takes it seriously and you're just never gonna like be able to have fun with the game.
Exactly.
Me personally, I downloaded Croc
Act 2, baby.
and Star Wars Droid Works now.
Ben played some Croc and some Star Wars Droid Works, and that was it. So Tim, I'm actually glad you mentioned co-op games, because we're going to come back to what, like, something else you played, or if there was anything else that stood out. But a co-op game that really killed it for me this year was A Way Out.
We still need to play that, Ben.
Oh, yeah. I played that with Michael, actually.
did?
And yeah, Way Out was a great game.
Whoa,
like,
that was a
both of
great
us
game.
had a great time playing it. I think we played it over like 3 days, and every day we got home from work and we played like maybe like 2 hours of it and then made dinner and maybe
Yeah.
played a little more. And that was, that's a great game.
Yeah, it was really awesome. Directed by Joseph Ferris, the guy who was at the Game Awards saying "fuck the Oscars" in 2017. And like it was a really great movie. Like he does this thing where he has a great vision for combining the narrative of a movie and the experience of a video game and making them one. And A Way Out was definitely one of the standout games that I played in 2018. That it was just awesome, and it's a forced co-op game. Anyone that hasn't played it, I can't recommend it enough. Find someone to play it with you. Sit down for 5 hours, play A Way Out. It's amazing.
Is it still $60?
It never was.
It's not only like $20.
It was
I thought it was 30 to
I
start.
think it was 30 at launch. And you can buy it. I think it's been on sale for like as low as 15 a couple of times.
Yeah. I looked it up when we were trying to find it. I was basically like best couch co-op video games. And that was
Oh,
like the very first thing that popped up.
Yeah. And Ben, I think that you should buy it and sit down with either Billy or Chris and play it, and you guys would have a great time.
And I recommend every
then who's
few
Tim gonna
hours
play with
switch
it?
characters.
All
like
right.
switch your controllers and like play as the other character. Like that's what we always did is we
Oh,
played
really?
and then the next time we would play, we would switch controllers and we would play the other person's.
Oh man, I played as Leo the whole time, and it was
Who'd you
awesome.
play with?
I played with Dom. But
The
it
artist
was,
formerly known as.
yes. But no, Tim and Ben, you guys should split it. Like, see if you can find it on sale, split the cost, and then you can play it online together. And it's actually really cool because it's like if one person owns a copy, then another person can download the demo, and the demo is just the whole game, and then it uses the one person who owns its copy to validate both, so that you
But
only
if
have to
we're
buy one
game
copy of the
share-
game.
But if
Yeah, we have game share, so it doesn't matter anyways.
So
Oh, that's true. So
Yeah. I'm pretty
But-
sure I just downloaded it because you already owned it.
I own
Or
it
maybe
physical.
If you had it physical, then I definitely downloaded it. I don't know.
Yeah, but you guys should definitely split the cost of that and play it together because it's fantastic. So, Tim, coming back to you, anything else that really stood out to you this year?
Something I started playing a lot lately. A Link to the Past, but Randomizer. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but it's a mod that randomizes all the items in the game in their chests. So it's a completely different adventure every time you play it.
That
You can
seems
get,
like a
like-
nightmare.
The Megaton hammer, like that's like the very first thing you get.
Oh yeah, you can get the fire rod as your starting weapon instead of the sword, or something like ridiculous.
Oh,
Or you might
God.
just get the flippers to start, and you might not, and then you might find bombs, and you won't have the sword for like a half an hour. It's fantastic.
Wow.
Makes it like very confusing.
You have to. It forces you to play very creatively, I'm sure.
Yep, and you've really got to think. Okay, I've got the hammer now. What does this open up to me? Okay,
Can I
gotta
use this
check
to try and get another item? Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's actually really cool.
I'm surprised that doesn't break the continuity.
I feel like
of the game.
it has to at some point.
Yeah,
It-
because like certain
It kind of does.
it's like if you got like one item, then you can never beat the first dungeon if you don't get the item that's like needed for that first dungeon.
Oh yeah, they even randomize the crystals. So sometimes a crystal dungeon, like one of the Dark World dungeons, will have a pendant in it instead. So
Ooh,
it's
yikes.
yeah.
So you
Yeah,
can't even
it-
get to the dark world.
Nope.
Oh.
They the way the logic works is that they provide you pretty much everything to get to the Dark World, right up front.
Okay.
But you got to know like
Where to
all the
go.
extra locations that you can go to.
Wow.
Like you're never going to be fully locked behind anything unless you just don't know where it is.
That sounds really cool. That sounds like a really cool way to like make A Link to the Past infinitely replayable.
Yep.
Wow.
I certainly suggest checking it out, Patrick, because I know you love that game.
I do enjoy Link to the Past. All right. And for me, there were a couple of real standouts in 2018, aside from the ones we've already discussed. Metal Gear Solid 3. I've talked about it a million times on this show, so I'm not going to bore you guys any further. Andrew, I saw you roll your whole head, and I know how much you love Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid 3 is my probably fifth favorite game of all time now. It was so fucking good.
He
Owlboy,
masturbates to pictures of Snake at night.
only
Well,
naked
you
snake.
You don't?
Yeah. Metal Gear Solid 3, man. It's the best game in the whole series.
It is.
Hands fucking down.
Metal Gear
I
Solid
don't
is
know.
real good.
I could debate that.
Tim likes Metal Gear Solid 2, so
Well,
Naked
some people
Snake.
just have wrong opinions. I'm just like,
Wow.
so
just kidding.
Owlboy was originally released in 2016 on the PC, and I played it on the Switch this year. That game was fantastic. It was absolutely
Played the whole thing in a day.
yeah.
It's like I got like so
So
sucked
good.
into it. I just sat there and watched TV and played it all fucking day.
Visually, it was just so incredibly enamoring. It was just like absolutely arresting visually. I think it's one of
Crash
the prettiest
Bandicoot.
games. I think it's one of the prettiest games I've ever played. I did love Crash Bandicoot. I played a fuckload of that game this year.
Spyro.
I played
Throw
some.
Spyro in there.
played
I think
some
Spyro
this
was a
year.
real like nostalgia
remake.
blast. I was
I
like,
still need to get that. I really need to get Spyro.
yeah,
One of-
it's super.
I wish it
fun.
was on Switch.
Yeah.
I
It'll
don't
be
know why
soon.
it's not. It's
It'll
really,
be soon.
Hopefully.
Like they got Crash Bandicoot on the Switch. Like they'll get the Spyro trilogy on the Switch. It
Yeah,
will
I-
not take long.
Yeah, that's
I think
I-
I'll probably wait for it to be on Switch because I feel like that'll be a way more fun place to play it.
I think I'll probably buy it on Switch as well. That's what I did with Crash, and I beat all 3 Crash games on both Switch and PS4.
See, the problem with having Crash on the Switch is that the entire system is too easily thrown at the wall.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, oh god, oh
Yeah.
that fucking game. The first one, it's
Ooh,
impossible.
first one was tough.
First
all
one's
right.
definitely the.
So that kind of wraps up our discussion on the best games of 2018 and the best games we played in 2018. But I want to know what you guys are excited to be playing, not only this week, but this year. Ben, tell me what you're going to be playing this year. What's your most anticipated of 2019?
Overwatch.
Overwatch. I'm going to play some Overwatch this year. Like, do you have anything you're super
Maybe.
pumped for?
Rockstar doesn't have anything coming out, so no.
Okay. Jesus. Why don't you go suck Rockstar's dick?
I mean, I
do it.
would.
Andrew. Anything
I mean,
you're
I'll
really
probably-
anticipating for 2019?
I I actually have big hopes for more No Man's Sky stuff. I've
Oh.
seen that even since like way back when I was like got really back into it. They've even still released like several new updates that have added like ocean
Subnautica.
stuff and everything. And
Yeah,
so
more
yeah,
Subnautica.
that
Subnautica Man's Sky.
Subnautica is definitely a game that I don't see myself just kind of like putting down and getting rid of after I play another game, but I don't really know. I actually kind of need to get myself caught up on what is coming out this
Check
year.
what's coming.
Is the Polish people, is their game coming out this year?
Oh,
CD
CD
Projekt
Projekt Red.
Yeah.
No, I don't think their game is coming out this year. Cyberpunk
Well, that's
2077.
disappointment.
That would be
Oh,
awesome.
we got to wait till 2077?
Yeah.
Darn.
Probably can't buy that. Shit.
Well, shit.
All right, Tim, what are you looking forward to this year?
I'm hoping to see a Metroid Prime 4 release this this fall.
Keep hoping. But
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen, especially in the fall with Pokemon.
Oh yeah, Pokemon. That's gonna be good too. Shit, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. All
I
right.
haven't played a Pokemon game in a hot
We
second.
all know Pat's looking forward to the new Far Cry the most.
No, that's actually not true. Although I did really enjoy Far Cry 5. I would say.
Well, yeah, the new Far Cry does look pretty cool. I like the idea of continuing what actually happened in the fifth one. Is
Yeah,
that what it
fifth
was?
one.
Yeah.
I would say that the thing that's most on my radar right now is Resident Evil 2. I'm psyched to play Resident Evil 2.
The remake.
Yeah.
I want to play that too. I still have yet to make it past I'm like a third of the way through Resident Evil Biohazard, and I don't really see myself ever turning it on again.
7
Game
is awesome.
absolutely fucking horrifying.
Yeah, no,
That game
I
was
couldn't
amazing.
finish it. It was
Yeah,
too
I loaned
scary.
it to Tim,
I'm
and a
like,
few
it's
days
too
later,
scary. This is
I
the
loaned it
one
to
video
Tim.
game I've ever just given up on because I was just too much of a
Oh,
pussy.
it was so good. I loaned it to Tim, and a few days later, he like brings it back to me. He's like, "It's too scary. I just can't do it."
I don't want to play it.
Yeah. So, but I actually requested PTO for the day Resident Evil 2 comes out, and I'm super pumped. I'm gonna like lock myself in the room, pull down the shades, and play it. So that's all we've got for you guys tonight. If you liked what you heard, make sure to subscribe on whichever podcast service you found us on. And don't forget to check out our movies podcast, No Refunds, the podcast that watches bad movies so you don't have to. You can find that on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And you can find everything we do all in one spot over at coldnorthpro.com. Reset.
Such a great website.
Reset.
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 Now you gotta get a pencil and hit reset.
Or a fucking paperclip.
Don't you hate it when your computer won't react? Hard reset that bitch. You know, computer won't do what you want, so you just hold down the power button and turn it off like a redheaded stepchild.
No, I did not think a hammer.
Throw it at a fucking wall and then stomp
Or like I
on
did
it.
when I was a
then
teenager and I punched a
fucking-
hole straight through my laptop screen because I was so infuriated by its slowness. I was like, "Ram? I'll ram you!"